Can I be can I be a burly human fighter that was an orphan that was raised by wolves that was
Well, I'm just waiting for you to say you just made Batman, didn't you? That's what you want. You
Yeah,
just
no,
want to
yeah.
make
Batman
Batman.
is
No,
literally
Bat-
like any person that's new to D&D, they want to make a human fighter who's an orphan and was raised by wolves. That is the one thing that everyone who plays D&D has in common. Everyone makes that character for some reason.
Christ.
I actually did not. My first character was a rogue elf that just liked to steal shit. Not because he needed the money. No, just because he thought it was fun.
Oh,
My first character
Oh,
was actually
shit.
an assassin Kenku, which was a
yeah.
lot of fun to play. Although it wasn't great for a first experience because I couldn't speak. So I wasn't heavy on the role play.
Mm-hmm.
I
Right.
once had a
Move the combat very
Kenku
well.
NPC that only talked with an anime soundboard.
Oh, God.
So,
That sounds terrible.
oh yeah, no. What it translates to English of please don't stop or something like that in Japanese. Close. That is one of the buttons, and I had a player who wanted to be isekai'd in there. So whenever I played it, his character would have just a panic attack. Like, where did this
Where did
Kenku
this
hear
come from?
What you got to do is just find out the soundboard and then give everyone a copy to play at random times and just have them be like, no, I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
What was your go-to sound?
There was, definitely. It was a JoJo thing where the dude puts a cherry on his tongue. He's just moving it all over the place. Little.
No, that,
Yep.
I just
One of those
realized
goofy-
my first D&D character was kind of like that. It was a
Was it?
burly human fighter who was raised by, well, not wolves, but was raised by large cannibalistic monster creatures. I don't know if you know what Wendigo are, but
Yes.
Oh yeah.
and and he was an orphan because he didn't realize that those were not actually his parents.
I
You
think
see,
I've
my
only
friend-
ever had 3 characters. One was
The
an
Legend of the
elf named
Wendigo.
Ost. What?
The Legend of the Wendigo actually began in Minnesota, so I am quite knowledgeable on that fact.
There you go.
But yes, fine.
I'm
go
in
ahead and
Iowa. We
continue.
don't have a lot of legends because we tend to just shoot shit we don't recognize.
That is fair, sir.
Just like,
Quite
huh?
based,
What's that
shall I
walking
say.
real weird? Bang! Oh, sorry, Bill.
Yeah.
No, it's my fault.
Sorry,
I shouldn't have been walking there.
Day.
You're good,
Can I
Linda.
get a broom? A broom?
Oh, what did you just say?
Oh, I'm making a joke. I need a broom to clean up glass.
He is he's been disgraced for talking bad about Iowa.
Sitting on the couch, also barefoot. All right, I'm getting assistance with the glass.
Okay. Oh yeah, Teche, Spin's been sitting in glass this whole time. He has not been able to move, otherwise he'll take bleeding damage.
Oh yeah, it's great. You
It's like,
dropped one
sitting on a
little
bed of
bowl of
nails?
sauce.
Kind of.
Indeed.
Thank
Sitting
you.
on a bed of nails, entangling vines, something along those lines.
Interesting. And how does that make you feel?
Well, if I look back to
kind
the
of on
first
edge.
time that happened.
I would imagine.
Oh, him, of course. Not me as a bystander, him being in the glass. Okay. No, I understand. I got the question. Oh, yeah, of course. How does that make you feel, Spin? Sorry. I'll just shut up now.
He said on edge because there's glass everywhere.
Yes.
What a riot.
All right. Oh, does anyone would anyone like to start with presenting their stories?
What is the method by which we're going to be presenting? Are we going to do just a basic outline, or are we going to be reading story? Or,
Well, it depends. What do you have done?
Don't you dare. I'm almost done, damn it.
I have an outline written for mine, and then I have a script that's almost done. So what we could do is that we could just go over the outline today, and then if you would like to turn in your script for Peanuts class,
Okay.
then that would work for that, I believe. Is that all right with unless you only have a script done? What does everyone have done?
Nothing. I'm getting. I'm here just
Nothing?
kind of chilling.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Spin, did you make a story? All right, he's preoccupied.
Fair
So
enough.
we'll go over the we'll go over the outlines today, and then we can go ahead and send in the scripts to Peanuts for her class.
Okay. Why don't you go first and give an example of kind of what you're looking for,
Sure.
Monsieur Vanguard?
Thank you. I will go ahead and
Okay, but can I eat one now?
so here's my screen. This is mine. There are many like it. This one's mine. This is the actual story here, and then here is the outline. So the outline for this story is based around. I was debating what to make it around, but I didn't want to step on any toes, so I just decided to
Right.
make it around the thing that I had proposed during the brainstorm session about the man that is from the lower levels that visits the upper levels.
Mm-hmm.
To try and saves up for his whole life and tries to actually save up enough for a meal, and then once he gets it he realizes, hey, this has nothing in it because the people up at the top subsist off sunlight and don't need any nutrients. So when I was making it, I initially made it around an unnamed protagonist, and then eventually I named this protagonist Mixel.
Ooh.
Mixel is from a floor in between metal and cyber, and from kind of what we had talked about before, we had kind of talked about it going from metal and like kind of steampunk-esque to cybernetics and such, and then on from cybernetics up to bio, and then from bio up to flora, and so that's kind of the 4-tier system I went with. So this can be tossed all around, but that's kind of the idea I went with on this.
Okay.
So Mixel's from a floor where metal and cyber mix. You can go with one or the other. So he's near the bottom, but he's not at the very bottom.
Okay.
He is got a pretty decent paying job, and he's worked his entire life to try to earn enough money, because when he was young, he was able to try I don't know if it was a meat or some food, but he assumed that it was from one of the upper levels, and it filled him up. Now, what he doesn't know is that was from bio, and the bio levels actually still have nutrients in them. Because and now he's saved up his entire life just to eat what the best meal he can on the highest level he can. And this is the story about that.
Oh, nice.
So I'll just go over the script here. Right now I have 4 main people that are in it. There is Mixel, who's the protagonist. There is Trevin, who is his friend on Metal and... You have to head out? All right, have a good night. Teche, we will see you later, my friend.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
See you
Didn't want to interrupt.
That's all right. Trevin is a friend of Mixel, and he has various augmentations. Most of them being metal, but he does have a cyber ear, and that is able to, influence it and help him hear better. This doesn't come into play. This is just a character description. The elevator operator is another character. He is pretty much controlling the elevator. Initially, I didn't have an elevator operator, or initially I had actually 2 elevators, one which goes to the lower floors, which had an elevator operator, and one on the top floor, which didn't have one. But I had to cut that down because it wouldn't fit into 5 pages. Then the final one is Erin, who is a restaurant owner, a flora woman restaurant owner that lives at the very top. And she runs a restaurant called Zest for Life. So the initial stage of where we go is that we zoom in on Mixel. He's waiting for the elevator next to a tube, and kind of I was thinking in these areas things would kind of run on. I thought it would be cool if, hey, things aren't exactly that great down here, so you have a couple you have a couple options for food. One of them being, nutrient blocks, which you could go and buy from different locations. Or the second thing is that there are pneumatic tubes around the place that you can press a button and it'll deduct an amount from your account balance or whatever it is, because it reads, this is kind of by the cyber levels, so they have like an automated banking system mostly.
Okay.
And you could press the button and it would deliver a tube of this brown as slushy applesauce that's warm and does not taste great. And Mixel is not content with it, so he's sitting by that bar, and his friend Trevin is also sitting at that place. Trevin's eating out of the canister that comes when you press the button, and they have a conversation about Trevin saying, "Hey, are you sure you want to do this?" And Mixel saying, "Yes, this is what I've been, waiting my whole life to do." Eventually the elevator gets on, or the elevator arrives, and Mixel gets onto it. Once Mixel gets onto it, the elevator operator asks him, "Hey, where do you want to go?" And he says the top floor. And reasonably concerned, the elevator operator is, a bit hesitant about taking him there, but he does. He takes him all the way to the top. And once Mixel gets there, he is astonished by the place. It's phenomenal. There's people walking all around that have plants growing on them. They have bits of flora stuck to their faces. Some of them, went eyes and ears for other bits of greenery and such. And he kind of gets himself lost in this land. At the very top, because hey, it's the first time that he hasn't just seen simulated sunlight with glowing strips. It's the first time, like maybe he's seen true sunlight before, but it hasn't been, like an open sky, which it is here. And it seems very alien to him, and that's when he sees Zest for Life, which is a restaurant. And he enters the restaurant, and it's more of a cafe than a restaurant. And he orders a burger, and the person there, Aaron, the owner of the restaurant, or at least someone who works there, gets it for him, and he eats it, and it's incredible. He's never tasted anything like it. But soon afterwards, he realizes, hey, it didn't make him any more full. He's been starving himself for a couple days at this point, because
Really
he
wanna
wanted
get
it.
the most out of
He
that.
really wanted to get the most out of it, and now there's nothing in it. And now that he's gone for it, and he's spent all of his money, he can't get anything else. So he begins to plead with Erin. Do you have anything else? Anything that has any sustenance? And she doesn't understand, because of course she doesn't. This is all she knows. Food is she can get all the sustenance she needs by just walking outside. She doesn't know what he's talking about. Like, it doesn't fill you up. What? It's not supposed to. It's supposed to taste good. And so he goes outside, and he attempts to. I had a scene idea with someone who had actually transplanted berries growing into their arm, off of like a sprout on their arm, and he tries to take those, and for any food at all, because he can't, because he's helplessly lost. He can't find his way back to the elevator. Because why would someone on the top level want to go down to another elevator? There's not exactly pointed out. So he tries to grab that, and that gets him in trouble with the law, because hey, he just assaulted someone. And he gets lost and finds his way to a back alley where he collapses. And then we cut away, and the people walking by wonder who that strange man was. And we cut to black.
Oh, I love it. How tragic.
I'm glad you like it. I had a couple other scenes that I cut because for time, and B because it didn't. It felt like it would fit better with a different story in this world. But I kind of wanted to have this cyclical morality or theme of, if you aim for the best you ever have, sometimes you aim way too high for what you can handle. And sometimes you just need to appreciate what you have and, you know, reach for the stars, but reach for something attainable, which would be, in this case, probably bio.
Yeah, but it also carries with it, in addition to that, like what I get out of this story is the fact that you when you idolize something, you fail to respect its flaws. And he and Mixel idolized the highest possible, luxury without respecting the fact that it was built for an entirely different culture
Yeah.
than he could, than he could appreciate. And so it's like, well, it doesn't matter because it's the best of the best of the best. So of course it's going to be everything I've always wanted.
Mhm.
And it's like, nope.
I'm,
So yeah, I
I'm,
really like it.
I'm glad. I'm glad. Yeah. Would there be any edits that you would change, add to it?
Mm. No, hmm. Uh, of something I think would be something that I think would be kind of funny, but also just terrible too, and probably unnecessary. Is if he goes after somebody that has berries on their arm, and it's like, please, I'm starving. Can I please have some of your berries? And they're like, oh yeah, sure, here you go. And it's like Nightshade.
Oh no! Oh no!
They have no
By
idea.
the
They
way,
don't
here's
eat
what we
it,
have.
so whatever.
Here's
'Cause they don't eat
little
it, they
thing called
just thought it was
chokeberries.
different.
They're real pretty.
Yeah, aren't they? Because yeah, Nightshade with the holly and the bright shiny crimson berries are very pretty. And it's like, oh yeah, sure, here you go.
It could also be even more tragic if he does like try to steal it, and he's he's hungry out of his mind, dying of poison, on run from the law, stumbling around in an unfamiliar place that he is practically blinded by the light of.
God damn. So that's why I was like, I don't know if that's necessary to like have this
That's
guy's
like-
day be even
All right,
worse.
let's take an atheist and drop them in heaven for 10 minutes, then take them back out.
Yeah.
Mixel's horrible, terrible, no good, very bad day.
Poor Mixel.
Oh,
Oh my
Mixel needs a good day.
I am the only because I like it as a as kind of like a cautionary tale, like one of those stories with a heavy, moral baseball bat to kind of be like, hey, don't, golden calf and so forth.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's also part of me that's just like, can he at least like, the elevator attendant's like, there you are, grabs him and drags him back to the elevator
and try to save him.
yeah, and just
Well-
brings him back down or something like that. And it's like, no,
I-
Mixel's gonna be okay. He's gonna be fine.
Originally, I was going to have him like us see him die, but in this case, I think cutting away is better because you don't know what happens. He's not in good shape, but
Right, he's having a rough time of it, but we don't have to explicitly say, and so he died of dysentery.
yeah, so he died of dysentery. The one thing that kills the most people, according to Oregon Trail. That's an awesome edit. Spin, do you have any changes you would make to it?
Not really. Honestly, I heard about half of it because I was trying to clean up the glass and I was
Fair
doing
enough.
other things. So I didn't hear the first part, but I know the last part where he tries with something that tastes amazing, gets 0 nutrients out of it, thought he was going to eat a lot, starves.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first half was basically world building in what people normally eat in between the
Right.
the steampunk metal levels and the cyber levels.
The way you described it, it almost sounds like ambrosia with Greek mythology.
Yes, kind of.
I
It
can see
is
that,
kind of
yeah.
an ambrosia situation where you can eat it, but it's maybe
It's
not
gonna
the
taste
best
great, but
decision.
in the Greek mythology, only gods can eat it and survive off it. Humans will die in quotations. So
They'll
what if their
burn
death
up.
wasn't, oh, you just go up in flames, you starve.
You starve. It doesn't have anything in it.
And the gas. Oof.
Oh.
Wonderful. All right.
All right.
Spin, do you have a story for us, or did you make one?
I am writing down bullet points because I know I had a story, I just didn't write a script.
Okay. Steel, would you like to go next?
Sure. The hang up is that I was writing it like one writes a novel, not
Of
like
course.
but I can definitely switch that around. I can probably make this a little bit easier to chew and swallow if it's in script format. But the idea I had was because I also too was like, okay, what's a story I can write without stepping on toes? And I had been thinking away at this one for a long time to the point where it's changed significantly. The story is about a guy named Monty Wrench, who is an engineer down in the metal, I guess the metal levels, right? And this is actually kind of similar to your story in a way. Now that I'm thinking about it, because though he's like an engineer augmenter for the more of the grungy steel factory workers, miners, people, there is a secret about him. See, he actually used to be a bio-augmenter, but due to circumstances, he had to go on the lam and come down to the metal levels where he took up work doing tech augments. But there are a couple of people who, they shook hands in the back alley late at night that know about it. And so the thing is, in addition to doing the tech augments, he also will sometimes service bio augments to people who are also equally doing shady-esque things. And in return, they get him the kind of sustenance he needs in order to function whilst down in the metal levels.
Interesting.
And it's all under the cover. And so the story I wrote was Monty on another day on the most bustling part of the metal floors known as the Rust Road, where all the factory workers go to pick up their stuff and spend spend the money they made at the factory by shops owned by the factory. Because that's how things work. And as he's doing his work, a couple of young kids bust in the door, and this teenage boy is like hunched over, and he's got like a blanket or jacket wrapped around his arm, and the girl that's with him is like, "Is Monty here?" And so of course he's like, "Yes, that'd be me. Everybody else, please leave the store." And these two kind of got tipped off by one of the people he works with that he does bio augments, leads the two of them into the back room where he does all of his tinkering and stuff, and reveals that the right arm of this young boy was a bio augment that was poorly done.
Oh no.
And so it's starting to like mutate and reject, kind of like when organs are fighting your immune system. And so it used to probably be at one point like a bare arm, just like, hey, check me out, I got this big strong arm, isn't that cool? But now it's like the fur is like falling off, it's bald in places, and like the fingers are moving unnaturally, and so on and so forth. Just horrible stuff of nightmares. So get that in your head. And Monty goes about going. I had this huge techno babble bit about pulling out the right, incense and nightshade. Ah, this looks like this works, so I'm gonna need wolfsbane. And he looks over at the kid and is like, did you have a wolf arm or was it a bear's arm? And the kid's like, ah! It's like, screw you. I had a joke in there where the young girl is like, is he gonna be all right? And Monty looks at her and goes, no, because once I take this arm off, he's gonna be all left.
Oh God.
God
And the
damn it.
silence falls, and he goes, you should wait outside. She goes, yeah, and she leaves. He ends up pulling the arm off through magic, which, he drinks a bottle of special liquor, goes into this astral realm, convinces the spirit of the animal to stop trying to rip the boy apart, and then severs the arm from the body and puts it in like a jar.
Interesting. Okay.
Sends the two on their way. They're like, how can we ever repay you? And he's like, never do that again. All right, off you go. And then it fades to black, and we come back and see Monty meeting up with someone, and the person named Sasha, who had tipped off the two kids to go see him, and Sasha's like, ooh, do you have a new treat for me? And he hands over the jar, and she hands him like a flask of like medicine. And though it pains him to make these dealings, Monty's like, I need this stuff in order to live down here. That was the idea I had for that story.
Awesome. That sounds great.
So equally so to your story about like going to get something you think is so incredibly star-spangled amazing. This is the best thing ever, and not respecting the dangers of it. And
Dangers come with it, yeah.
yeah, and so I kind of like I don't mean to like bite on your theming, but I do like that concept as well.
Oh, of course. Of course. That was really nice. I kind of like the idea, and I love the scening that like you have for it, where it's like he doesn't just like bust in the door, like, oh, help me. I like how you actually added an era of suspension, or is it suspension? Tension is the word I'm looking
yeah.
for.
Tension.
To it, where it's like, oh, it's under the jacket. What's under the jacket? What's going on there?
Mhm.
And then adding on to that, leading up. I like that. It's cool. It's cool. I also sorry, I can't get a sentence out right now.
Take your time.
I also really like how he just cracks dad jokes when nervous.
Yeah.
I think that's cool. I also really like the idea of do you have any idea what kind of melody it is?
The kid had?
No, that he is suffering for the medicine.
That
Is it just
he needs
sustenance?
It's so I don't really have a name for it. My thought was that because it would be like, it's like what's like what's that word when you get nitrogen in your body? It's like pressure sickness.
Compression sickness, I think, something like that.
Yeah, and so from changing the levels, like altitude sickness, but in reverse. And
Body
it has-
carbonation, or something
maybe.
like that.
But that
The
kind
bends?
of thing. The bends. That's what it was.
The bends.
And
God,
it's
that
not,
shit sucks.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
your
I
whole
almost
body's
got
on
it.
fire.
That shit sucks.
Oh my god, I'm
How'd you almost
glad
get it?
you. Well, the way I assume most people do, like, were you
Scuba
scuba diving
diving.
or
Okay, yeah.
yeah?
No, I just
But
took in real deep breaths a lot.
I was just, doing my my meditating, my my exercises, and I don't know, I just felt like my arm was bubbling,
And I
was just doing my
nearly
breathing
died.
exercises, meditating. Next thing I know, I'm on the Himalayas getting the bends. I don't know what happened.
I just appeared there. I drank
just
some
was
teleportation juice.
And
You know?
thump.
Dude, Ender
Teleportation
Pro,
juice.
it's wild.
I can't tell you. I just got shot off a ballista. I can't tell you what happened then.
Oh my god. But yeah, something like that. A malady that has to do almost specifically with a bio or even fauna or a flora person coming down to the lower levels of cyber, or in his case, to the metal levels.
Interesting. I wonder if it has to do with lungs.
Maybe lungs, or yeah, because I imagine it's pretty grungy down in the depths.
He got his
So
heart
would he
replaced
have
with
like
an animal heart.
an oxygen tank?
So I imagine that he has like a lot of like I want to imagine there's like various plants about the store that he says he just installed because he likes green, but it's actually helping him breathe.
Please close the door.
You're letting out all
You're
the
letting the
air.
out.
And it's like it's a joke in his shop, like, oh, you're letting the air out. What a funny dude. But it's actually like he actually needs that.
But seriously,
Please close the door.
and that's why I kind of like having this this character you're never quite sure if he's really joking or not really joking, and because a lot of things he says so deadpan. And I
I
just
like
thought
that.
it-
That's awesome. All right, cool.
But yeah, I'll try putting that. Do you perchance? I've never written a script before. Do you perchance mind if I?
Neither have I. You're not alone.
Do you mind if I rip off your formatting?
Of course, of course.
Okay.
I can go ahead and send you a basic format template if you'd like. I can whip
Hi,
one up for you.
Please and thank you. Onegaishimasu.
All right, wonderful.
No habla español.
No, that's okay.
Watashi mo Spaingo hanasemasen. I don't speak
Ah,
Spanish.
God.
No
Time to
sé.
start talking in JavaScript.
How do you talk in
All right.
JavaScript?
I can show
sorry,
you.
I only speak in wingdings.
That's just.
I
fun
only
to
speak
say.
in wingdings. Wingdings.
Wingdings and Comic
Wingdings.
Sans.
Wingdings Comic Sans.
I
No,
also
y'all-
speak in Comic Sans. Listen. It's very nice to see you today. A lot of enunciation.
you ever hear a dude that like talks in impact font? It's like you can immediately
You mean German?
recognize it.
I'm sorry.
There's-
I've saved various language jokes, and I wanted to rip one out when Mushroom was still here, but there was a person was making a joke, and I'll explain the meta of it. He says that I am Nihonjin. Nihonjin usually translates to I am Japanese, so like watashi wa Nihonjin, but he's very obviously white American dude, and so the other person is like, what do you mean? Nanda, Amerikajin desu ne? Like, aren't you American? He goes, no. I have 2 legs. Ashi ga Nihon. Dakara Nihonjin. Nihon means like two long things, so 2 legs.
Mhm.
But then it's like Nihonjin, a person with 2 legs. It's like, Nihonjin.
I'm a person with 2 legs. Dude, language is so it's crazy.
It's fun. It's
Language is fucked.
Yeah,
Language is a
fair enough.
mistake.
That is what language was a mistake. Go back.
I figured out one of the most non-PC languages is sign language.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's extremely. I mean, the biggest insult in sign language?
I don't know. I don't.
Closing your eyes.
Yeah, it's just you saying I don't want to talk to you right now.
Mm-hmm. Or
Harump.
just like the biggest insult.
Congrats,
That's
I
not a
can no
joke, by the
longer
way.
hear you by closing my eyes.
Don't you close your eyes at me.
Don't you?
Or what's real fun is when someone's trying to speak sign language to you and you grab their hands.
Oh no.
Shh. Don't speak.
Exactly.
Don't
Just
Don't you point at me in that tone of voice.
Yeah, I was about to say, what if someone who's deaf hears this, and then I realized,
What if someone who's deaf hears
Hears
this?
maybe I should rephrase. I don't think
so hang
that's
on,
gonna
let me
be a
just turn on
worry.
the closed captioning for this real quick.
No, our secrets.
Oh God, what have they done?
But yeah, I will. I had a lot of fun making this, and I definitely like the stories. So Spin.
Yeah,
Do you
I got my
have
bullet
like
points
a-
done.
You got your bullet points? I am
got my bullet points.
ferociously curious.
Me as
Okay.
well.
So main character, their name is Sol, S-O-L, is a magic user, meaning they know how to augment bio and like geo the flora stuff. Learned how to do
Ooh.
it from a young age. Their family has been doing it for years. Decides to go down to the buyer area instead of the highest point and start augmenting people for free instead of making a business out of it. Because they just decided, you know what? I'm just going to go give people ears of like a dog or a tail because I
Handing
feel
out.
like it.
Here, you get one. You get one. Yeah, just that sounds
Congrats,
cool.
you get a tail. What? Along the way, they meet a character named Tala, who is unaugmented.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't want any augments, thinks it's weird.
Ah.
And then news gets out. I don't know their interaction because I haven't written it yet.
Mhm.
News gets out that Soul is doing augmentations for free. Not only that, is doing much more complicated ones that would take time, doing it in just hours, kind of like a tattoo in a single day. A group of people starts to hunt him down, tries to make him stop, or like try to move him back up to where he's supposed to be. He
Right.
runs. He gets down to the base level. Soul himself is augmented. His arm is like the inside of a geode.
Ooh. That's
Lots
super
of
That's
cool.
cool.
pockmarks,
That's
but
really
it's
cool.
lots of pockmarks and indentations, but like very bright violet crystals.
Mm-hmm.
He gets very shiny in the sunshine, which is why he's called Soul. Not his real name, but it's like being called that.
It shines like a purple sun.
How do you get away? Flashbang.
Well played.
It just shines of his arm.
While he's down there, he runs into a character named Minx, a tech augmented, and does her own augments to other people. Paid business stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
He figures out, oh, this is why I'm being chased. I'm supposed to make people pay for shit.
Nobody explained that to him. just
Minx is
immediately
like, hey,
started
why are you down
chasing him
here?
down.
I'm running away from people.
Fair enough.
I'm running away from the
You're
city
under
of
arrest.
commerce.
What for? We won't tell you.
We'll figure that out later.
While he's down there running around with Minx, they find the cult planting bombs on one of the major towers up to the upper city.
Ooh.
Soul runs back
Alright.
up there, tries to warn people of the tower, like, hey, it's coming down, go to another tower, run.
Mm-hmm.
He gets chased by the one group more. This time they're looking at him like, hey, we just want to talk. He doesn't believe them.
Fair enough.
The bombs go off, the tower starts to fall, and this was under the assumption that the area around, like there's a smog under the city, and it's just being covered up by like holograms of like a really nice landscape.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It's not good, but it does its job of fooling the eye.
Yeah.
Tower starts to
Casual
fall.
glance, they'll be fooled. Okay.
Tower starts to fall. Soul grabs a pigeon because it's the nearest fucking thing. Uses it to give himself the pigeon wings as a bio augment.
Oh.
And as the tower falls, he's just watching it. He's flying over, watching it go down beneath the hologram. It's a really nice picture until the black smoke starts to rise up from underneath it.
Ah.
And that's as far as I got with the bullet points.
So that's really cool. I just want to clarify something. So as the tower is falling, he grabs a pigeon, tears the wings off, and attaches it to himself.
Well, he kind of like grabs it. He's still holding onto the pigeon as he's converting its wings into his own body, and then it grows out of him. So during his flyby, there's just a pigeon without wings that he's holding.
He is quick with that. All right.
That is
Oh, it hurts like a
nutty.
bitch, but he
I
has
can
to do
only
it.
imagine.
Well, that's cool.
Only with magic. Probably won't be having working wings for very long, but it's doing the job right now, which is keeping him gliding across.
Don't worry. Monty will help you take him off. Don't worry about it.
I really
Flies
like
down, molting wings. Hey, Monty.
I really like the mix of tech and magic that we have going on.
Yeah. I am enjoying. I mean, I was already like hype as hell for the discussion of the fusion of these different worlds through the strata of this city, and I'm really enjoying like the multitudes of differences, like the subcultures that have been developed from like the metal strata, the cyber strata, the biostrata, and the flora strata.
Yeah.
What if instead of Soul meeting a character named Minx, what if Soul just meets Monty?
Monty?
Why are you down here, bud? Oh, I'm being chased by a couple of people who keep yelling at me to stop what I'm doing. What are you doing? I'm just augmenting people because they asked me to. Are you getting paid? What? No, I'm not getting paid.
Oh my god. I would imagine that like it's not the authorities that would come after Soul, it's like the businesses.
No, it's a chamber of commerce.
Yeah, it's
It's the tax office. The IRS called. You've been performing services without paying your taxes.
It's kind of like a
Exactly.
tattoo artist when there's an unlicensed artist at a party doing real good tattoos for like $20. No.
Can't have that.
It's like, you are undermining everything we do. Please stop.
It's
Get a license, Soul.
bad regulations and booklets and licenses and stop it.
Awesome. All right. Well, that was.
I wrote all of that down while everybody else was talking.
You get,
Well, that
sometimes
was
you just get
cool.
on a roll. So you just go
Yeah,
like,
right.
and this happens, and this happens, and this happens.
All right. Awesome. I'm loving that. Do we want to for next week, do we want to go ahead and first of all, is this time okay with you guys?
Yeah, I just gotta
It
get a
works
shower
well.
first.
Fridays
but
the
yeah.
6th?
Yeah. Well, it's technically Saturdays at 9 a.m. for me, which is perfect.
Wonderful. Well, in that situation, what do we want to do before next week?
So this time through, we tried to just kind of create a protagonist, send them out into the world, and kind of play around with what we think the world is all about.
Yes, to explore the
Um,
world, the characters.
Should we create a character or should we create a person? Because I've noticed there's two very different things with that. Because a
I don't
character
know what
is
the difference
there,
is.
they don't really have any ties, they're just kind of placed there. By the way, they have a mom and dad. A person knows their way around, they ignore certain things that's around them. They have friends that they wave to, things like that.
Okay.
I ask this question a lot with my D&D groups. Like, hey, if your dude just plopped in there and you say you have connections, and then do you have zero like handshakes or winks or inside jokes or anything like that? Or do you have people that have been doing this for like a job?
Yeah.
Hmm.
For this
Where did
next
you get this?
time,
Yeah.
for this next time, do we want to try to explore? Because we've explored a lot of the world now. Like we kind of have an understanding of how a lot of this works. Do we
Yeah.
want to? What do you recommend, Steel? You've been wanting to say something for a while.
Only to say like, well, what are some areas I think we haven't touched yet that people want to have some exploring in? Because to me it seems like betwixt the three of us, we've kind of built a lot of what I would think to be very good bones of the world. We've got what is kind of the world like at the top level, what is world kind of like at the mid levels, what world is kind of like at the bottom levels, how they transport in between, what is food like, what is commerce like, and what is
Yeah, we haven't discussed the
Yeah.
magic system. My brother's sitting right next to me. The magic, like how the magic works, how the augmentations for like the bio. Like I described just fucking growing wings by grabbing onto a pigeon. I don't know if that's how Jackson wanted his magic system to work.
Oh, I mean, it's all of
Like-
ours.
Well, I was thinking
Yeah.
about souls. Like I don't know if he just had an arm that was plain and then started converting it to rock, or if he took rocks and started shifting out with flesh. I haven't figured that part out either. I just said he has an arm made of geode.
So
Well,
for me, for when I had Monty do his emergency battlefield medic
Emergency
augment work,
surgery.
I had this thing where it's for tech augments, it's very much on the very physical level where all right, well, which arm do you want to get rid of? All right. All right, and now we're gonna attach the nerve endings to this little electrode here, slot them in like Iron Man did, and then there we go. There's your new arm. And but for like bio and especially for Flora, it becomes way more into the hard fantasy of like, you must summon forth the spirit in the ethereal realm and have them mingle with the other soul to create a strong bond. Then, from there, we attach the gossamer threads of light-weaved spider silk in order to attach, and so the stitching may be blessed. So the fact that Soul was just kind of like, there we go. Have all the mage makers
Sick. I'll deal with this later.
Yeah, have all the mage makers going like, how the hell is he doing that?
How did that happen? How?
And it could just be that, like, he doesn't even know. It's just like, well, you know, you just kind of chunka, and then, you know, swibbity swoo, and then ungada bunga, and there you go.
Yeah, one of the elders turns to the other. Well, Stephen, we found the main character. This is them.
I would love for a super aware elder who's just kind of like, well, shit, there's the main character.
There he is. That's the protagonist. Fuck! I thought I was actually like a piece of this story, but no.
Takes a big drink of like some liquor of some kinds. I go to be the mentor.
Yeah, just everyone trying to be like, that's the main character. I need to be their mentor. They're almost to meet the mentor. I have to be there, otherwise. And then some others, no, you're gonna die. If you do that, you're gonna die. It always happens for dramatic effect.
And then all of a sudden, finally, has come the time for him to select his mentor. Where's Soul? He took off for the bio or down lower to do free augments. He did fucking what?
Yeah,
it's not the hero's journey yet.
Goes lower. All right, where's Soul? He went lower. He started talking to a guy named Monty.
Motherfuck.
That would actually give like a really nice round to it, where it's like, hey, he didn't just go down and start doing a ton of these augmentations. He was a prodigy. And he was a prodigy. He was incredibly good at this. And you know, it's kind of in a story where, you know, you usually have the protagonist in a long lineup waiting, you know, like hoping the mentor selects them. But in this case, you have the protagonist with all these mentors vying for it, and he's just like, yeah, fuck that shit, I'm out. And he just
let me teach you, Soul, but I know how to do it.
I know how to do it. You guys can't teach me. This is I get Zawardo behind a pigeon and then fly. You don't know how this works.
That was not my intention when I made Soul. I'm like, okay, he's just some teenager who doesn't like commerce. Now it's like, by the way, he's the main character. No.
I mean, these things happen organically, and that's what makes it so fun.
I don't know, man. I really like
who you gonna pick to be your mentor? I met a dude named Monty. I think he can teach me a few things.
Oh my god!
I met a black market bio dealer. I kind of like this dude.
I like this dude. He says funny jokes.
Everyone just looks at him. The Soul is just like, funny? And then Monty's in the back, just kind of slowly puts his hand up to his chest, wipes a tear out of his eye.
Yeah, the only person that finds him funny, and he's like, "Wait, what? You find me funny? Really?"
Monty tells joke a couple seconds later.
Just bursts out.
If nobody else got me, I know Soul got me. Can I get an amen?
I know Soul got. Can I get an amen?
Oh my god, this is ridiculous. But it is actually interesting because of potentially speaking. Monty, of course, has been like on the lam more or less for a while, kind of escaping the radar, more or less gotten the hang of it. And so this new person who's kind of running in and being like, I'm trying to keep my head down and duck away from these people. Monty's like, oh shit, yeah, I know how it is here. I got a spot in the back if you want to crash. It's fine.
I know how it is. So what are you being chased for? I did shit for free and people got mad about it.
Yeah, they
did what for free exactly.
Monty, you did what?
Did what for free?
I can do stuff like this in like minutes.
Deep breath into the deep. Yeah, they'll get mad at that.
Yeah, just Monty trying not to lose his shit.
Did you meet a kid that needed a bear arm? No, why?
Okay, good. Okay, good.
We're good. We're good. You know, I was just, you know, those people, they can get angry, so I just want to double check.
Yeah, those other people.
Like, all right,
really
first lesson, Soul. When was the last time you talked to a spirit, Soul? The fuck is a spirit?
Yeah, the fuck is a spirit? I just do this. Hey, listen.
Pops a cork off flask, drinks. Okay, let's start a little bit earlier.
We're gonna start from the beginning. 101.
show me how you do it. Me grabs fish, turns it into bigger fish with legs. All right, there you go, buddy.
I love this idea of like these different augmentations where you have like the pneumatic and steampunk has systems of metal, and then you go up to cyber and it's a lot more like techie. Then you go up to bio and it's a lot more like, hey, you have to speak to the spirit. And then you go up to flora and geo where it's very much very specific to each augment, and it can change a lot.
Yeah. And
I like
Like
these different
tree
tiers.
augment might work on one person, but that one person with a tree augment could never touch like getting like a marble design in their arm.
Yeah.
possibly,
And we
yeah.
have to like specialize it, and maybe at the very top they specialize in finding out which one specifically will work with which person.
Yeah.
Then doing that.
Your best augment.
It goes from
Optimization.
like by the metallic augments in the cyber to like necessity up to the bio where it's more like desire. What do you want?
Yeah.
Then there's Terra and Geo, or straight up just fucking elementals, where it's like, we're gonna give you stuff based on what fits with you. Anything else, you're probably gonna go into shock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because these ones are so intense, and they probably have to get them very young.
Very young, grow into it, and then
So when they discovered Soul, who's like a master at this, a prodigy that can do it in literal minutes, they're astonished, because imagine how effective that would be if they were able to teach them how to optimize it, to be able to immediately detect what someone needs, what they can take, and then instantly
not only that,
apply
it would mess with the status quo a lot.
Exactly.
Like if somebody down
protagonist
down in the grungy, and he's just giving people like better lungs to breathe in the smog, or like a stronger liver to get rid of the shit.
Yeah.
Or just give somebody wings down there. It's like, congrats, now you're seeing people fly up above the smog.
Potentially, yeah.
How the fuck they get up there?
How the fuck they get up there?
Why are all these wingless pigeons hobbling around?
He's just attaching pigeons. Oh god! It's like you can fall. They follow the trail because there's just random limbs missing from different animals.
That might actually be an interesting way to do this, because so hear me out.
Okay.
Because because I personally love magic systems that have drawbacks. So here's the clincher. So Soul is really good at making these augments, right? And he starts off with these things like the Geo and Flora augments, and that's great. And he's really good because he does the Geo to himself to make him like shiny.
Yep.
And the cool thing about it is that rocks and to some degree plants don't really mind if you take a chunk off of them. The rest of them is more or less usually pretty fine. But when you start doing that with like animals, it becomes an issue, regardless of the fact that the animal like survives the fact that they don't have a liver anymore, or they survive not having wings anymore, and it doesn't kill them necessarily. It's not like you actually like rip them off with like
the body parts fighting back.
It was more like, now you have all of these pretty much deformed animals in the wake of Soul's just, I'm gonna pop these on you, and you're gonna have this, and you're gonna have that, and he doesn't register it.
He doesn't realize it
because he was always from the place that where doing that kind of thing was fine. And so he's not doing anything wrong in his mind, but there is like this question of
the pelt shelter is not having fun.
Yeah,
Peter's worst nightmare.
I tell you,
the worst nightmare is Soul.
What was it? the street food vendors are loving it.
Oh,
these birds are never been easier to catch.
Easy prey.
Oh god, yeah, the birds easy. Yeah, they try to track him down to reward him. You see that man? That man gets free food for life.
That guy. My pigeon pie business has never been better. Thank you so much.
You want a pigeon nugget?
Oh Uh,
Oh my god.
I do
But,
really kind
yeah.
of like that. Like the idea of I also I do the more I think about it, the more I agree that like Flora and Geo fit on the same level. Kind of
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
yeah.
as part of the same thing because those are more like much high class things, you know.
I would imagine. Yeah.
Awesome. All right.
And it's not as easy, I would think, when like you go into biological things and mineral-based things. Like biological things, you do have to like speak to. In my magic mind, like they speak to a spirit, but there's nothing really to talk to in a plant and a rock. You has to like go ascend beyond that. into
Not
the
only
realm
that,
of
you're attaching a
understanding.
living thing to something else that is already living.
Yeah.
So connecting nerve endings is real easy. Getting let's say, a rock to cooperate like an elbow or fingers without like dust breaking apart or it breaking
Yeah.
itself
Yeah.
and still
Mhm.
feel things, that would be so advanced that it would be reserved for those who could afford it, or B, those who had the magic to do it.
Exactly. Ah, I
Mhm.
And
love
then
it.
you get a little shit like Soul running by, like, great, that's a cat. You want those ears thick? Hold this real quick.
Take a sip of this. Close your eyes. You're gonna love this.
You
God
want
damn.
gills? I do not suggest it. We are far away from water.
But I can get you gills.
But I can get
I
you
can get you
gills.
scales like goldfish, but I do not suggest the gills unless you live by a pool.
Yeah.
Listen, Buster, you bring me a fish, I can get you the gills. Yeah, you know, that's how it works around here. You bring me materials, I can do anything
You want to
you
sleep with the
need.
fishes? I can make that happen. It's not a threat.
Okay,
I'm sorry, it wasn't a threat.
that could be you know that could be taken multiple ways.
God damn. I'm just imagining someone being like, the mafia's gonna give me concrete shoes and throw me and have me sleeping with the fishes. I can help with that if you need.
I
You
can
know, I gotta-
actually support you in that.
I can
got
make sure
an
your cat
idea.
doesn't kill you.
I got an idea. Oh man. No, this is great. I do actually like this character, first of all, is just such a shitter. He's like the adorable shitter where it's like he's so cocky and doing it for fun, like the ideal like protagonist-ish
Yeah.
When I
kind of character.
when I thought of Soul, my first image was a mix between Percy Jackson and Aang from Avatar.
Oh
Yes!
god. The most protagonist-esque protagonist you can make.
Does he have a
Not
scarf?
an
Tell
anime
me he has a
protagonist,
scarf.
no, a kid's cartoon protagonist. In the
Okay.
most fucked up situations.
Yeah. All of this is incredibly fucked up, but I do
Jimmy
like
And then
Neutron
you just
meets
have this
Dexter's
little
lab over here.
sassy sweetheart kid, like, I want to help people and give them what they want. Shit, why is there so many animals glaring at me? What did I
I
do?
can fix that too. You don't have eyes anymore.
I'm gonna fix that.
just don't glare at me. I will take your eyes.
Hmm.
You don't
I
get them
want
back.
cat eyes. Cool. This cat's gonna have human eyes now.
Bring
Oh,
me the
God.
cat.
You're
Oh,
not gonna
God.
need yours.
Ha, bitch,
I want to
just
meow like a
downgraded your
cat.
night
Cool.
vision.
Switches. That cat can talk.
I'm suddenly now seeing it as like, with the exception of the bird wings, you just swap. So there's like a cat
Oh, yeah.
with like human legs because you gave the cat legs to somebody else. Oh my
By his soul
god!
progeny, because he can do it with two living animals. How does he do it? He just plays swap. He plays Mr. Potato with people.
This got really dark.
What's
But-
his favorite subject? Well, he has this really fat cat that he carries around that's a Mancoon with human eyes, human ears, and talks.
What's his name? Oh, I call him Spare Parts.
Oh god.
All right.
Okay.
Should we
okay.
do something?
Spare Parts is not happy about his situation.
I
Spare
know that.
Parts curses like a sailor.
Spare Parts can talk.
Spare parts.
Okay, Steel, what were you going to say there?
So I've been having fun, but I do actually need to figure out how to. Did you sent me the thing? Yes. The script basics.
No, I'm gonna write it right after.
Oh, you're right.
I'll-
For me,
Yeah,
you're the best. But
of course. I'll write
so
you a
I'm
template.
gonna go ahead and translate what I have for the story into script format with like interior scene with some staging and basically just all dialogue, and then hopefully get that done tonight. But for next time if we meet, do you want to just like do another round of make up a random character and go to town, or is there something more or else you would like to accomplish?
Let's instead of a character, let's try to imagine a place. Let's try and imagine a place in this, and then build the characters around the place. So we'll still do a story. Let's try to have it be a maximum of. This time, let's try to have it be a. Let's just try to not make a. Every 2 weeks, I think we should do a script
Okay.
that we work on for 2 weeks, and then each week we should have a smaller thing.
Okay. Imagine a place.
Potentially. So, like, let's imagine a place. By the end of next week, let's present the outline for the place, and then by 2 weeks, let's go ahead and present the script for the place, or like a story surrounding the place.
In 1 week, and then script involving the place in 2 weeks. Okay. Cool. And there's so many fun places now that have been introduced.
Right? Also, you can create something perfectly of your own if you would like.
Oh, of course, of course. All right. Well, I'm
Soul is
excited.
gonna be from like a little town that's being not propelled, but like held aloft by magnets.
Fucking magnets. How do they work? It would make a lot of sense.
The only reason why it
especially
doesn't flip and like stick to it is because it's like massive cords holding it in place.
I was assuming it was one of those like superconductivity things or some sort of MacGuffin element crystal that just functions like
It's a
magnets.
MacGuffin.
That's
No, it's just a real big piece
fucking
of magnet against
cool.
another piece of magnet with cords.
Wait, hold up. I have a really cool idea.
All
Go
right,
for it.
my
You know-
loins have
you
been
know-
girded.
You know, when you have like that kind of like kids experiment when you have like two like magnets and then you hold one upside down above the other one and it kind of floats in place so long as you're holding it.
Right.
Yep.
So you have lines tethering that to the ground on one side, and it's like that. It's two massive slabs of magnetic material,
Mm-hmm.
and it's always trying to flip over, but it's connected to the ground by these cords, by these strings that keep it like that. And because of that, we have a floating city on top of another city.
Oh my god.
And if those cords are ever cut, it would flip over and sandwich both cities.
Oh,
That's
what's the cult trying to
precarious.
do? You make a perfect being? No, the cult's trying to make a magnetic sandwich between cities.
Magnetic sandwich.
Oh, imagine like walking below one of those cities where
Right?
the pressure of the magnet is.
You go
'Cause
near the
can
edge,
feel
you can
that
just
even
hear
with
the
the littlest
groaning.
magnets.
Yeah, you can hear like the groaning. Yeah, metal things are not allowed in this city.
Oh,
so
what
it's
if
all geo.
it's like a 3-tier city where the base level, all the people who do like the mech augmentations are living on the outside ring. The magnetic like floating part is the second ring where the bio people are and they're floating, but underneath it are a bunch of the unaugmented, those who aren't affected by the magnetic waves. They feel it, but it's not like their arm's gonna flow up because their arm is metal. And above that, have you guys ever seen like tension desks?
Yes,
Yeah.
What if the third tier was held up like that? Giant towers that people can live and work in that are attached to even larger cables, making a tension for the upper city and the lower. One of the main things making it not shake so much is a central pipe that is like 8 freight elevators going up and down.
I'll take that and I'll raise you one. What if you have the bottom magnet, which is the ground floor, which is a giant metal disc that people live on, or magnetic disc. You have the top floor, which is another giant magnetic disc, or like giant magnetic rock or something that people live on, and those are being held by the cords. And then in the middle, you have the tension.
Yeah.
And from that, if it turns over,
Everyone's dead.
everyone's dead.
So
And it would create a crater. It would land.
Yeah. I was thinking of this as far as like a story element, and I'm just seeing this moment where people suddenly realize what, like, for example, the cult is trying to do. And the two characters that are like, I don't know, detectiving this are just like, I don't understand. Why would the cult be doing such crazy things? And a person flips over one of the cult books and says, if they're going to try and make this happen, they're going to need an incredible amount of like sacrifices. So why are they at the cords? Oh.
Johnny! Starts calling. We need to go.
We need to go.
We need to move. No.
As it dawns on them that they're going to rip the cords, they're going to flip the things over, they're going to sandwich the whole thing, they're going to use it to go. Oh my God, we got to get going.
I kind of like the idea of in between each layer, there's a large, like there's a huge gap, like there's almost a skyscrapers in this specific city, because the city I was talking about and we were talking about before was much more of like a block style city, but this is like a completely different style where it's I really do like the idea of like there's these multiple different like city styles where there's like giant like kind of like block city that was kind of where Mixel was living. And there could be this other city that was this like magnetic and tension style building that these guys are living in. And then from
I'm not a very good artist, but kind of like that. This and this being like the chords holding it in place.
oh yeah, for the tension desk.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Because that would be so cool.
I'm real bad
at
at art.
at the very top. No, you're good, dude. I can't do better. But being like that, like I'm imagining these being absolutely massive, like multiple mile-long cities, and you can like see the next layer up, and it's like a pretty decent distance up. So if I can imagine just like standing on one side of the city, looking across the city at one of the many, thick giant wires like the size of a building that connect to this giant metal oval above you that spans the entire length of your home. You look across the city at the very, very far end on top of like a hill or something where it's connected to a giant thing underground.
Oh.
You just see a single strand on the other end.
God damn. Could you imagine like one of the strands like snap and it just like slicing through like half of a city?
Oh, it
Like,
would destroy
yeah,
a
like, just
ton of buildings.
crashing it because they're huge.
Right. Okay.
Just crushing a ton of okay.
I got this crazy idea. So I'm thinking about these massive wires, right? Coiled tethers. And I'm thinking to myself, of course, whenever you have these gargantuan projects that involve huge, mind-boggling things, you can sometimes hand-wave magic that got it there. And so here's what I'm thinking. Deep in the deep, dark parts of the cockles of my heart. You said it's attached to somewhere underground or in a mountain.
Yes.
What if it's attached to a person?
All these are going to one dude that's just like
they've augmented themselves to hold the city together.
Like an atlas?
Like an atlas. And they've been living for years and years and years thanks to the support of the whatever it is that keeps them alive. And at one point in time, they said, I'm holding this so that people will live. And they've just been there holding it. Maybe either in secret or they praise him and worship him. But I'm just imagining this thing where this one person is just holding all of this together.
Maybe I kind of, you know what? I wonder if in this situation they're trying to kill multiple birds with one stone by like, because all these would connect underground. I wonder if like nowadays they have the technology to make it so that he doesn't have to hold it, but they keep it there. Anyway.
Okay.
Because here's the thing: if he lets go of I'd imagine.
Yeah, I mean, let's go. We can just run with this idea.
I mean, is he relying on his grip strength? Is it like connected to him? Because like I feel like what would happen is that like if he's holding on to anything, he'd be splayed out like a piñata and just like torn apart within seconds if he tried to hold on to it. Full spread eagle. He's entire covered in geo.
Yep, he just dug himself to become one with the mountain, and then gripped the wires until they became one with him, and he just leaned back and held it in place.
What if
All
what
right.
if keeping it up it wasn't because I used to have like an amp, a floating amp, where if it wasn't turned on, the magic would be hit. Would one side would be a magnet and hit each other. But as soon as you turn it on, it could float. Electromagnets. One
Yeah,
side
yeah,
has electricity going through it, and the other one is not. What if all the mechanical bioaugments was what was keeping it powered and keeping everything afloat?
Interesting.
As like running the power that powers
Yeah.
the whatever.
Like there's a
reduction element that's
substantial
left
amount
behind.
of energy and electricity going through this bottom layer that is
Mhm.
keeping the other cities above aloft. The only way to make it fall would be to, well, reduce the population.
Reduce the population. Oh, okay.
That's feeding this
It's
current.
feeding it.
The population is somehow either through the augmentation process or just by them living their lives in some manifestation is allowing the power that powers the
Yeah, 'cause
charge and keeps
if
it
it's a
alive.
lot of it's like tech augmentation, you need power for it. Moreover, you're going to be putting out a lot of power.
Interesting.
So if somebody like a bio person went down there and they had like fur on them, their hair would like stand on end.
Like that. Okay.
That could be a constant.
Here's
Do
what I'll say. We
Okay.
should probably split up and then do our own outlines for places. I like this
Yeah.
idea. If one of you guys wants to roll with it, feel free. And then make a story about it. Do either of you guys want to use this for your story?
I was gonna.
I'm thinking about running
play
the
store?
electricity one.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was actually thinking of more of this like Council of Commerce. I wanted to like because my favorite thing to do in any D&D or world building is to get down to the brass tacks and discuss the bureaucracy.
Yes.
Who is running the world?
Who is actually
Awesome.
running the world?
We should also probably give these cities placeholder names.
All right.
So like the block
place
one
that I wrote for Soul was called Terra Laura, which I just mix Terra and Flora together. It's real shit, but it's a placeholder.
It's a placeholder. We'll take it.
It's a placeholder.
Terra Laura is is where
The magnetic
it's
city?
supposed to be.
Is the one that's on the tension.
It's on the tension. Okay, so the tension one is different than the electromagnet, right?
So electromagnet is like in the middle, and the tension one is the one above that.
Okay. Cool. Okay. So you can go ahead and make it about there, because I think at the very minimum we should have 4 different levels on each city.
Right.
And they don't have to be vertical. They could also be like horizontal levels, like a like a regular city, but like 4 different sections of each city dedicated to the 4 different like main districts. Okay, cool. All right. Well, in 1 week, so next Friday at 6 for CST or 9 JST or whatever it is in EST. I think it's 10. We can go ahead, or 7, something like that. We can go ahead and turn in our outlines and talk about our outlines for it, and then by 2 weeks we can go ahead and either present a script or present another outline and finish our script for Peanut. But I'll go ahead and let Peanut know that if you can, let's go ahead and try to get the scripts done by tomorrow at 10. If you can't, that's all right. I'll let Peanut know that we will maybe have some on the way. And yeah.
And
awesome.
real quick, you mentioned something about I didn't want to make this when you were reading your script. You didn't want to make it more than 5 pages. If I'm going through the process of turning my story into a script and it's like 5, 6, 7 pages, would you recommend me like chunking it down a bit to kind of fit it into like more of a 4-page thing?
Well, the only reason I put the 5-page limit on it is for people to not think I was going for like a, hey, write a book in your spare time the next week.
Okay, fair enough.
Write a short story.
You can go more if you'd like. I think 5 pages is a good average or a good maximum average. But if you'd like to go over it, I'm not going to stop you.
All right, thank you very much.
Of course. All right, guys. I will go ahead and end the event. if I can figure out how. Boom. There we go. Okay, cool. Thank you guys for joining me. That was awesome. I will see you guys next week if you're available, and then the week afterwards, and we will go ahead and present our outlines.
Yeehaw.
Yeah.
All right. I will see you guys later. Have a good
See
night.
you later.
Yep.
Bye
All right,
bye.
bye-bye.
Bye-bye.